everyone, Violet here. It is snowing outside and I've got a hot cup of tea, so please get cozy. And I'm about to read the very end of Onyx Storm for the first time. I'm on page 512. Yeah, so I think there are 3 chapters left. So I have no idea what the ending is going to be. It has not been spoiled for me. I know that there have been some big reactions to it, however. So you're going to watch me read the end of this. And fair warning that after I'm done, it'll be spoilers for the rest of the video. So please be warned about that if this is a book that you're currently reading or plan to read. All right. I've been waiting all day to be able to do this. I thought I was turning the page. Did they do that on purpose? Like, it ends the page. I thought I was still gonna keep going. I'm so confused. Hold on, wait. Okay, I mean, to be honest, and spoilers, by the way, if me showing the last page isn't enough to let you know, spoilers. I thought he would fully turn in this book because that just seemed like the thing that would have to happen for maybe the next book. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was pretty sure we were headed that way, even though, like, I was rooting for him not to turn. But why? What's with this, like, marrying and then leaving a note, like, don't look for me? Is that what it said? Don't look for me. It's yours now. Don't look for me, but now you're legally married to me and you weren't before. I don't understand. What is this? What is going on? All right, let's talk about this series. By the way, I did make a video a while back of making my husband read Fourth Wing, which was so much fun. I'll link it. But that's why I felt I'm kind of a completionist. So it's like, oh, if I start a series, like, I need to keep going with it. And I knew that people were disappointed in Iron Flame. To be honest, these 2 books are Iron Flame and this book are kind of blending together for me a little bit because I read them back to back. But I remember that Iron Flame ended in basically, I almost called him Rhysand. Look at that. Xaden. I almost called him Rhysand. Basically beginning this turning, this transformation. And to be totally honest, he sort of, like, lost an appeal to me when he did. And that's one of the things I wanted to talk about with this. I actually wrote down the page number, 355. Okay, this line in here, 355. I don't know why. Maybe I, like, skimmed over this and just totally missed this detail. I kind of feel like it needed to be maybe hammered in a bit more or fleshed out because I was kind of like, I was upset with Xaden for turning and I felt less interested in him. Even to the point where I was, like, almost like, oh, I think she should be with Dane. Like, there was a point in there when I thought that. But this line, Basquiat would have fallen if he hadn't killed the Dark Wielder's sage, I remind him. What he did give my mother, was time to imbue the Wardstone. We'd all be dead if he hadn't channeled for more power. The continent would have fallen if not for him. I guess I didn't realize how high the stakes were. I guess now that I'm reading it, maybe that makes sense. To be totally honest, I'm not the most, like, action scene oriented reader. I lose a lot of the action scenes. And when I think back on books that I read, like, the sort of, like, the politics and the negotiations and the things like that, and the battles especially, they're kind of like, it holds the plot together, right? But, like, what I really actually remember are the emotional, like, the relationships, the friendships, the things like that. So that's where I'm at with that. But it is so funny that I almost called him Rhysand, because it's almost like, a piece of me wonders if this was almost like a Rhysand, like, fan fiction in a way, where it's like, how is it possible? This character, it's like they have the same sort of a bond, like the main character, like, speaking through the head kind of a thing, and he has the same exact powers, and it's this, like, enemies to lovers sort of a thing. Anyway, it's just very, very, very similar to that in ACOTAR series. But I love Rhysand, and okay. It's okay. You know what I mean? And the other thing that it's like I had to get used to with the series is the fact that it has such, like, a modern speak, almost to a fault, where it's like it almost feels like a little bit, like, overdone. But I think it's also because we're in fantasy, and we're not in like a contemporary fantasy. Like, you know how in, like, Crescent City, for example, if you've read that, they use more contemporary speak, but they also have, like, cell phones, and they're in, like, basically our culture in a way, on top of, like, overlaid with this, like, fantastic, like, fantasy universe. So I can get behind that a little bit more. So yeah, I mean, I did enjoy this. Don't get me wrong. I just want a good explanation for this marriage thing, and I want the next book to make this book, like, more solid to me, if that makes sense. I do really appreciate how some of these, like, relationships and friendships have really fleshed out in this book. Again, that's what I remember the most. I did get a little bit of the feeling here, and I think that this is, like, the author's, like, maybe first, like, fantasy series. I did get the feeling that she had done, like, a whole lot of, like, world building, and was kind of trying to, like, really plug it into this book. And it almost felt, like, overdone. Like, it was, like, really trying to introduce us to these different isles, these different cultures, and all of these, like, political entanglements and things, and that I, wasn't as aware of in the other books. But I also think that's okay. Like, it should sort of, like, naturally kind of come out of the story and weave into things. And, anyone who's learned about, like, world building, I mean, I at least have heard a lot, like, don't feel like you have to use everything that you come up with and that you imagine. It's like, make the world so real for you, but then you use what's most essential in each moment, and that's what makes it, like, you're immersed in the world. And the last thing that I wrote down, because I didn't want to forget, is how many times in this book, and I didn't notice it in other books, so tell me if I'm just now noticing this, or if you didn't notice this at all, but how many times did she say, like, my lips part, my lips part? It was like, it was a reaction to so many things, and I don't know. It really stuck out to me. It kind of reminded me of, since we've talked about Sarah J. Maas with a couple things with Rhysand, with Crescent City, but also, like, one thing that she says, I don't know if this is mostly in Throne of Glass, but actually no, I think it's in the others too. It is in the others too. It's like, I padded across the floor. It's like, I guess everyone has their sort of go-to, like, I don't know if I'd call it a filler, but a go-to sort of, like, this is the reaction, or this is the description for this kind of a thing, Anyway, let me know. I would love to know what you all think about the book. I haven't really watched other videos yet about what other people think, so I'm curious. I think there's supposed to be 5 of these, right? I feel like I read somewhere, I could be totally wrong, so like take this with a grain of salt. I think I read that there were supposed to be 3 and that now there are 5. Like she first came up with the idea for 3, but then it like maybe Fourth Wing was so successful that there are 5. I should probably look that up before I like say something is true. Okay, everything I looked up just said there are going to be 5 books, but I was kind of wondering like if that is the case and if I'm remembering it correctly, that maybe she did a whole lot of extra world building in order to kind of draw the series out a bit more. I'm not sure, just a thought. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and please subscribe. It would mean the world to me. I'm going to be doing more bookish content and writing and reading and organizing and planning and that sort of thing on this channel. So welcome, and I will see you in the next one.